Hello, everybody. Here we
Good
are live.
morning. Welcome to Coffee with Jen and Sharon. Sorry, I was looking at my phone because I was getting ready to show a picture that goes with our topic today.
Ooh.
Which is that, so I think it's really funny that we're talking about chores today. I personally, when I hear the word chore, it makes me think of Little House on the Prairie. Like I got to go out and chop some wood and put it in the lean-to and maybe churn some butter. I don't know why I have that weird association with the word chore. Maybe because we didn't really use that word in our house so much growing up. I think it was more about like, it was just maybe there were expectations. We didn't really have a name for it, but there were certain things that it was expected you would do to earn your $1 a week allowance, which was like make your bed, set the table, other duties as assigned. So we didn't have a chore chart. We didn't have a chore list. Didn't grow up with that system. So when it came time for parenting my own kids and my husband, who came from a chore-centered family where there were defined chores using the word chore, he was sort of like, well, what chores are we going to ask our children to do? I was like, wait, did I miss a chapter in the parenting book? Is this required? Do they have to have assigned defined chores, or can we just say when I ask you to set the table, you need to set the table? So that's the kind of like the dynamic that we're coming to this with. But the reason I think it's so funny today is because I bought my husband a fire pit for his birthday, and for this fire pit apparently eats a lot of firewood, so we needed to order some firewood, and this was just dumped on my driveway.
So you need some firewood stackers in your house.
Exactly. I just texted this picture to my adult daughter who's living at home at the moment while she's working. And I said, we have a chore for today.
You said chore.
I did. I lied. I think I said project. I said, I think we have a project for today.
So. See, I think that's kind of brilliant, Jen, to not use the word chore, because I think kids know it's a dirty word too. I'll admit we do use it because we refer to Saturday chores.
That's what my husband grew up with, Saturday chores.
But that's not it. So let's start by saying I would love to hear, I know we both would, from all of our viewers about what your chore dilemmas are and whether your kids do chores. And as we go on, what they do.
And what do you call it? Do you call them chores? Do you have a chore chart? Are they assigned, or is it just sort of baked into the parental agreement like it sort of is in my house?
Let's start here, Jen, because it is my mother's birthday. So happy birthday to my mother.
Happy birthday, Mom. She's my adoptive mom by Zoom.
Because she has the same name as your mom, too.
Exactly. I was going to say happy birthday, Barb, but I wasn't sure if she's a Barb or a Barbara.
She's not a Barb.
Okay,
no,
Barbara.
She's a Barbara.
Happy birthday, Barbara.
Anyway, I'm one of 5. Actually, Jen, I know you're one of 5 as well. And my parents had some serious systems going on, including chore lists. And it was like one piece of paper with a set of chores for the week. Like it might be walk the dog AM, clean the upstairs bathroom, or whatever they might be. And then every Sunday, without fail, they were rotated on the bulletin board under the names. So it was
Are you a military family? This is like a very military system.
We could have been, because my parents had a lot of systems that they never failed to meet. Like this is a lot of work for the adults in the house too.
This is why I'm a bad chore master, because I didn't want to be a chore master.
On the other hand, one of our chores that we don't refer to as chores that we do without fail is clean up after dinner together every night. And so that's actually a system that's working for us, because everybody's supposed to help put away the leftovers, clear the dishes, load the dishwasher. And the children rotate between like washing the pots and pans or the like hand wash things. But every night it's like, whose turn is it to do dishes? And the discussion of whose turn it is to do dishes can go on for a while, because I mean, maybe we've just been to we got a takeout on Friday night, and then we went to visit family on Saturday, or whatever it might be. When was the last time we had dishes? So everybody's like, well, what did we eat for dinner on Thursday night? And who washed, that pan? So we're not as organized apparently as my parents are, but
No, not even close. But it does sound like I like what I'm hearing that I like from your system is that it's not necessarily you saying, child A, you're doing this, child B, you're doing that. It sounds like they know amongst themselves that they have to figure out who's doing what. Is that true?
they do know in terms of the dish night, because I think we started the dishes after dinner and cleaning up together about 6 years ago. But I actually think I am firmly believe that if, like, you're feeling behind on chores, like, oh, I guess chores are, the research does show that chores are good for your kids. They study adults who and ask them whether they had chores when they were kids, and the people who had chores, blah blah blah, they have their act together. So I mean, the responsibility is good. So we might feel like, yeah, I guess we're supposed to be giving some chores, but where do I start if I am kind of behind? I firmly believe we start somewhere where you do it together as a family. And that's
Good
because, like, telling somebody else, go do X, it just sounds unpleasant. And then you're alone. And what if you don't really know how to do it well? And it just feels like everybody else is probably doing something better, or I'm missing out. But if it's like, hey, let's do this. Okay, we are doing this together.
Yeah, I think I kind of backed into doing that a little bit during the pandemic when we suddenly had our two college-aged kids at home with us who would normally be not at home. So everybody was using the house a lot more, and we weren't going anywhere. So dinner was at home pretty much. It was at home every night. Maybe it was sometimes takeout, but it was always at home. That means that there's more crumbs and more vacuuming that needs to happen. And somehow you just notice it more when there's more people living in your house all the time. So I started doing something where I would use the notes function on my phone and that you can invite people to. So I invited, actually, I have to say, I think maybe my husband started this. But
I'm not even sure I knew that you could invite people to the notes on your phone.
And
okay,
so
go on.
Together, we would we would take turns creating what the note of the things were that needed to be done in the house. And I would put my name by one of them and say, raise your hand for, put your name by the one you're willing to do, or the one you will do, I should say. And it might be, like, one job is vacuuming the downstairs, one job is vacuuming the upstairs, one job is doing the bathrooms, one job is, whatever the last thing was that was on the list. That I tried to make them roughly equivalent. But instead of me just assigning them, I would put out there, this is what needs to be done, and here's what I'm doing. You pick the one you want to do. And it worked out well.
That sounds very mature, and I do like the idea of involving the kids in the process. I mean, mine are middle school and high schoolers, so a little younger. I don't know how much volunteering we would get, versus, I don't know. Are they going to be so much more mature in college, Jen? I don't know. But
so much more.
We did have a really interesting conversation one time where I don't know why we hadn't talked about this before, like what chores people don't mind and what chores people hate. Yeah.
It's interesting. You're right, because some people are like, I'll scrub toilets all day long.
Yes.
Don't make me clean the kitchen floor. Whatever it is. Like, there's some things, it's funny how there are some things. I personally really do not like vacuuming.
That's so funny. I don't mind vacuuming at all.
Oh, come on over.
People in our house hate vacuuming. And I'm like, I don't get it. It's like satisfying. There's a start and an end. I can put a podcast on if I can find my earbuds, which I currently can't. They're somewhere.
That's a really good idea. I never thought about that. Maybe I would enjoy it more if I had.
Because it blocks the noise and it gives you something else. Because otherwise, it's boring.
Right. And I don't mind cleaning the bathrooms. To me, that is a satisfying task where I can see the beginning, middle, and end, and I feel good when it's done. So I, by default, usually am the bathroom cleaner. But here's one thing I do not like. We have one bathroom on our third floor. I never use it. Other people use it. I refuse to clean it. I'm like, nope, that's not mine. Not using that one. It's not my potty. Somebody else can clean that potty.
It feels kind of made like if you're cleaning somebody else's toilet. Unless, Jen, you and I were exchanging chores, because I'll come over and vacuum for me. I hate scrubbing the shower and the tile, like,
I don't like
or
that.
the tub. You
I
don't
get in
mind
there with
that?
my toothbrush and I'm like getting all that stuff out of the crack. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually don't mind it. I think for me, I kind of go into a Zen-like trance when I'm doing that.
Okay.
Isn't that
So
weird?
we found out that our children don't mind cleaning bathrooms as much too. So I'm like, fine. I was splitting up the vacuuming, like, oh, you do these rooms, you do this, which is a nightmare because then it's like I was gonna vacuum, and no, she's using the vacuum. But it turned out I was like, okay, I'll do all the vacuuming. If you three split up the bathroom chores and the mopping, I don't really mind mopping either.
So
But
there is some let's make a deal going on
oh
there.
yeah, for sure.
It's just that you're just not using the notes app, but you are saying you're taking an assignment and you're saying, how about you guys do this part of it? And there has to be some feeling of like we're all in this together. We're all making the house messy. We all have to keep it clean. So I guess I don't come down on the side of like needing the chore chart so much, but
Yeah.
I do think it is important everybody contributes.
Jen, this one's for you.
She had to say.
If my husband urinates on the seat, I tell him, please clean your urine. It's all over the seat. And he does. Well, that's fair.
That is fair.
Clean your own excrement.
I clean my own. I have hair. My husband doesn't have so much hair, so I clean the hair out of the drain because it's my hair.
You know, that's interesting. Yeah, the boys in the house, unless they are long haired, which they're not in my house, they don't contribute at all to that giant mess in the shower.
Well, there's so much we've really scratched the surface, if you will, on this chore discussion. I'd love to hear how other people are handling
or what your dilemmas are, because
sure.
I mean, I find that certain chores, it's just hard. It's like pulling teeth to get the kid to do the chore. And while we had this thing like with lawn mowing, my husband actually doesn't mind mowing the lawn or doing the yard work, but he was really busy at work for like 2 months straight, really, really busy. So he said, well, the teenagers can mow the lawn and they can alternate between back and front yard, which aren't even that big. But it was like, oh my gosh, they hate mowing the lawn. It's like, then there's all these arguments. So it becomes my job.
Mowing the lawn is kind of like vacuuming, except outside. And if they don't mind vacuuming, maybe you could reframe it that way.
I'm the only one who doesn't mind vacuuming though. I did my time mowing. I don't really want to mow. And honestly, I don't think I'm seen as being that good at it, which maybe was a good thing.
Oh, that's a whole other discussion. Yes.
Okay.
That's my MO.
Joanna says the only chore I've given my 14-year-old daughter is cleaning her room and her cat's litter box.
That's fair.
It was the condition for her to keep the cat. As well, if she wants to go out on the weekend, chores better be done or no going out. You know, we run into this when it's like, you know, I like the chores to be done before noon on Saturday, but I haven't really demanded that.
Yeah, that was something that was a problem with the notes app too, is that I didn't necessarily say by what time I would like the things to be done, and they would linger a bit.
I'll do it. I'm going to do it, Mom. But then something fun comes up and it's like, well, you haven't done your chores. And like, oh, but I'll do it after. Or, you know, but my friends are like, but I'll do it when I get home. I swear before I go to bed, I'll clean the bathroom or whatever. And it's like, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I say yes to that. And sometimes I say no. If it's a family activity, I want them to come. So
right. You don't want them to use it as an excuse for not doing the family walk, for example. Like
right.
That's not good.
Stephanie's
my son helped clean up the dinner table. That is to me, like, that is the bare minimum of what's expected. You know, I made this food for you. I plated it. You can bring your dish in and put it in the dishwasher, where my husband will rearrange it.
Because he wants it perfect.
Yes, he does. He is that guy. He is the dish rearranger. And I have had to tell him that is having a detrimental effect, because now the kids don't want to put the dishes in the dishwasher because they're like, Dad's just going to complain about where I put it in there. Like, you know what? That's just part of the game. Let him rearrange it. It's like a puzzle. I think they do it just to like annoy him now. Like they'll put something in really cattywampus and they'll be like, who did this?
Just for the show.
Exactly.
Have you heard the thing where you're not supposed to critique how your kid does something, because then they won't want to do it? Kind of like the rearranging the dish
I have not heard of that. I mean,
Okay.
I understand the idea, but just tell me more about this.
Well, I mean, I just think it's like, okay, the kid's going to wipe the table. Like, don't go and then say, well, you missed this spot and you missed that spot. And because they won't want to do it. I think this is maybe more relevant for 5-year-olds. Just
Yeah,
wipe it again when they're not looking. But
right.
like, I'm very particular about the hand washed dishes. I don't want your greasy dish coming out.
Yeah,
I don't demand perfection in many things.
yeah. Oh, Sharon's frozen on my end. I don't know if it's me or her, but I will say I don't demand perfection on most things either. Oh, Stephanie says praise them. I think that's important. Yes, praise the effort, not the outcome. That's true with so many things. And try not to add the but, like, you did a really nice job of wiping the counter, but you missed this spot.
Yeah.
How are they going to learn at some point that there's a basic minimum of what's considered clean or not clean? There
I,
has to be a little bit of gentle, like, can I just show you where you missed a spot here? Or this is a spot that gets overlooked, the top of the microwave. Nobody
yeah.
in our house cleans the top of the microwave but me, I think.
Well,
So,
yeah, I don't. In my house, my rule, being 5'1", partly is also things above my eye level. I don't have to clean because I can't
ah.
see them. I mean,
I guess that's fair.
my husband has to dust the mantle because, like, I can see it if I look, but
Right. Well, that's part of it is if you don't see it, you're not going to clean it.
oh,
Joanna.
Joanna, whose daughter cleans the litter box in her room, she'll use the "I'll do it after" excuse, but won't do it. Been there. I don't have a set
Mhm.
time yet, but that's a great idea. Um, the other thing I feel like a broken record, and maybe everybody thinks I'm mean, but I've said it here before in this chat. But when I really don't get the child listening to me, I go to the monetary fine,
Oh, yes. I think that's actually quite brilliant.
which only works if you have money motivated children who
You
also
have to
get
know.
an
You have to know what
allowance.
motivates. Right.
Now, I think this is different. We don't pay children for chores because chores are not optional. But if
Mhm.
you don't, like, if you leave your wrappers, I don't want to see your granola bar wrappers everywhere,
Yeah.
which I do. And
Okay. Somebody out there I know says their kid puts their shoes on the counter.
no.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So sometimes like the granola bar wrapper, not great, but I'm not putting the shoes on the counter. I'll take that. I forget who it is. If you're out there, remind me if
Oh
you're
my
watching.
gosh. It bothers me. Sometimes we don't have a bench in the front by the front door. And I have seen more than one of my children put their foot on the dining room chair, the upholstered dining room chair,
Oh.
to tie their shoe. I don't know.
I want to remind people of another great strategy you had, though. Getting back to Joanna's dilemma, Joanna, this might help. This might work for you. This is a Sharon Holbrook TM
What is it?
special. I love how you use the. Did you do
Oh,
the XYZ yet, or do you still need to do that?
yes.
It was a
Yes,
great way to frame that reminder is like, I need you to do this. It's like, oh, did you? I think your initial one was like for brushing your teeth.
yes.
Did you brush?
Oh, yes.
You need to do that, and then give
Yes.
them a way to gracefully say, oh yeah, I do still need to do that.
Also, because they would lie. You know how little kids lie when, oh yeah, I brushed my teeth. When they first learn that they can say something that we won't necessarily know the answer to, but we kind of do know the answer to. Yeah, I would say, did you brush your teeth yet, or do you still need to do that? And they're like, I still need to do that, instead of saying, yeah, I did that.
I don't know why that works, but it does seem
Because they want to please you, and I think that still goes when they're a little older too. So
yeah.
this light on my face is driving me crazy,
But hey, we should be happy because in 2 days it's going to be dark all the time.
that's
Like
true.
4 hours a day. That's just the way it goes around in Northeast Ohio this time of year.
And we're
Well,
about to sign off anyway.
yeah,
So
we definitely want to hear more about your chore dilemmas, and what worked for you, what doesn't work for you. Do you call them chores? Do you call them essential agreements? If you have an IB child, somebody who does IB at school, maybe you're using essential agreements in your home. Whatever it is, whatever tips, tricks, hacks you've got, send it our way.
all right. Bye everybody.
We'll see you
Thank you
next
for
week.
joining us.